What is up, everyone? Raylo from Raylo Vapes here. I'm going to be reviewing my first regulated box mod device. Now, some of you might be thinking, holy shit, Raylo's gone off the deep end. He's not using mechanicals anymore. What happened to the unregulated guy? Well, I've always said this to a lot of my friends and people within my group, the Cotton Collective, that if they ever came out with a device that could do over 100 watts, preferably 150 watts, I would buy it, because that was something that I'm used to vaping on. Now, I know there's been a lot of reviews on the IPV3, which is what I will be reviewing today. This box mod right here is the IPV3 by Pioneer For You. I know a lot of people have done reviews on this, but I've noticed a lot of the other reviewers not necessarily are into sub-ohm builds or crazy sub-ohm builds or cloud chasers for that matter. There's a couple of them out there, but for the most part, most of them stay within, you know, a 0.2, 0.3 area, even with their mechanicals. Some of them do go a little bit lower, but I digress. I'm rambling on about nothing. So I'm going to talk to you guys about a sub-ohmer, a cloud chaser point of view on the new IPV3, or semi-new. It's been out for a couple months. So before I go into any more detail or anything else, let's go ahead and dive down up close. Take a look at this. I'll show you how the features work, the buttons and all that good stuff. Take it apart and show you all that good stuff before I get into any more rambling. Okay? So hold tight. Let's go ahead and dive down up close. Okay, so here we go. Here's the box that it comes in. Sorry, it's pretty close here on my camera angle, but here's the box. And before I open it, I'll show you the back. I'm sure if you've watched some of the other reviews, you've seen this already, but it does say it comes with a mini USB charger, which it does not. Whatever. So we got LED screen display, dual 18650 batteries, and a couple other little information, what it's supposed to come with, and this is not a toy. So remember that. This is not a toy. All right, so let's go ahead and open this box mod. And this is what you get when you open the package. So first thing here, we have our device. You can see their logo, Pioneer For You logo right here. You take this out, you have a little user manual that kind of goes over the ins and outs of all of the good stuff in here. Sort of teaches you a little bit about the device as well. Pretty nice, and it'll also help you when you're trying to figure out some of the stuff in here. But since you're watching this video, I'm going to tell you all about it. You get a little Asmodus distribution thing here. You get your little certificate of authenticity and quality control pass. You get a little baggie here with some hex screws, right? Yeah, there's some hex screws and a little hex screwdriver. But when you first open it, it comes with Phillip heads, which I replaced instantly because I don't really like messing around with Allen screws. But if you like Allen screws, then go ahead and go for it. Then you get this box here, and in this box, oh, there goes my camera. And in this box here, you get your USB. Now, the USB is not used to charge anything. This is used when you want to upgrade. So when you want to upgrade, which there's already an upgrade out for this that takes it up to 165 watts, which I've already done. So that's all this is used for. You do not charge with this. There's no charging capabilities. And I will show you what they did to these newer ones, since I have one of the newer ones. So that way you don't charge anymore. All right, so let's throw all this back together, get that box in here, because who really cares about the box anyway, right? Let's talk about what we're here to talk about. The IPV3 box mod, regulated box mod. So here it is in all of its glory. I want to say these are aluminum panels, and possibly aluminum here as well. Some people were saying it's plastic. It's hard for really me to tell unless, of course, I scratch off the finish, and I really don't want to do that because I really like this. So on the back here, where you have the logo, you also have these screws, and like I was saying before, it comes with the hex screws on there. I took those out and switched them over to the Phillip head. You have what before used to be the plug to charge this, but they were having issues with that and people were burning out the boards and all that good stuff. So with the newer ones, they just plug this hole so it's no longer used, because I'm sure they probably had tons of these boxes available instead of trying to make new ones. I understand that, keep the cost down. Here you have your 510 connection, and you can see I've sort of damaged it just a tad. And you know what? That's metal. So I'm guessing this is metal. I only have to scratch it. I already did scratch it. You have your unusable touch sensor right here, which has been disabled. Okay, so I had to edit this to show you this because I can't seem to get it to show up clear on my original video. But basically what you're looking at here is the screen. So you have wattage, which you say here is 54.6. You can see here your voltage at 4.24 volts, and your ohms are at, or resistance, at 0.33 resistance, and you have your little battery meter right here that shows you. Now, as you can see, when I fire it, you can't really see because, of course, it's glowing immensely. But basically, to operate this and change your wattage, you would use the up and down here. So here's to go up, here's to go down. First thing you would need to do, and I do apologize since you probably won't be able to see this perfectly clear because it's going to glare out on me like it has been. You hit the down button first, and then if you can kind of see that, kind of, when you push this, it's going up in 0.1 intervals. Now, if I hold it, it starts going faster and faster and faster and faster, all the way until I get to 100 watts, and then it goes up by 1 watt increments all the way up to 165 or 150 if you haven't upgraded it yet. And of course, if you hold down the down button, it does the exact same thing, all the way down to 7 little watts. So you can fire this all the way down to 7 watts. Now, it's not really going to do much on this build, but there you can see 7 watts, 1.54 volts. So basically, that's how this works. Now, if you wanted to turn it off or on, it's 5 clicks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. System off. Now, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You have the Pioneer for You logo, and it says IPV3. And then it takes you to your main screen, or goes black. It takes you to your main screen, so you want to choose what you want to vape. Wow, that didn't make any sense. But anyways, I'll keep going on here. Now, when you get to this screen, if you hit the up button, it takes you to menu options. And again, it's kind of hard to read, I apologize. But it starts off, let's see, it starts off with a 10 watt, and then M2 is normally a 30 watt, M3 is at 50 watts, M4 is normally 100 watts, and M5 is 150 watts. Now, the way you can adjust these to make it your own, let's see, we're at M2, right? And that's at 70 watts. We'll hit the down button to activate and then go up. Let's take this up to 30 watts like it was originally. Hit your fire button. And now that should be in there. Yeah. So now everything is back to normal. But that's your menu for your preloaded wattage that you want to work with, just so you can quickly scan to it. Now, if you want to lock your screens or lock your buttons, you just hit your up and down button at the same time, and it locks. To unlock, same thing. Just hit the 2 buttons again, and now we're unlocked back into the menu. Those are really the only things you need to know. There are some other things like turning on the touch sensor, but you don't really need to know that because the touch sensor doesn't work. So you don't have to worry about that. So basically, that is how you use these buttons. Fairly simple, very easy to use. And now we'll go back to the original video that I made and continue on. So let's talk about the 510 connection here. It is a spring-loaded 510 connection, so you can see there it goes up and down, so that way for the most part every single atomizer that you have will sit flush on this device unless you have an extremely long 510 connection on your atomizer. But so far everything I have, including some of my longer ones, sit on here very, very flush. Let's go ahead and open up the back and show you the internals. And yes, you have to unscrew these. There is no magnet back for the IPV3, which can be a nuisance. It is sort of a con considering a lot of the other box mods come with magnet backs, so you don't have to use a screwdriver to take off the back. So here's what we're looking at. You have your 2 batteries. You have a nice clean look here. And then of course there's the little epoxy glue spots that was all the rage of these being recalled because it was melting. It's not melting. It's just a soft epoxy glue holding everything down. You have these little Allen here that hold on this plate containing all the internals, the board, wires, and whatnot that you have. But you don't want to take these off because this little thing right here, this little sticker is covering one of them. If this is removed, it voids out your warranty. So don't go digging in this thing unless you don't care about your warranty. Let's go ahead and take our batteries out here. You can see the spring, nice little, I believe this is all brass in here. Really, really well done. It looks, I mean, it looks great. Everything about it's really clean. And you have this little cloth piece here to help you pull your batteries out. So basically, there you go. That's the inside. That was how you control the screen, even though you couldn't really read it here. So sorry about that, fail on my part. Let's see the spring-loaded 510 connection. So let's go ahead. I'm going to put this all back together, and we'll go back up and vape on it, talk about it, let you know the pros and the cons, and what I think about going on to high wattage regulated devices. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. All right, so we're back. You got to see the up close, take it apart, got to see the battery cartridge or battery sled or whatever you want to call it. And I got to show you a little bit of the screen. I did have to edit that to make it a little bit better. It's really hard for me to get it clear, but whatever. You got to see it. Now, I was going to go and sort of give you a sub-ohmer's opinion on this, but I think I'm going to make that a separate video just to keep this a little bit shorter. But basically, let's go ahead and jump into the pros and cons real quick, and I'll let you know my thoughts on it. So let's see. Let's go ahead and start with the cons this time, because there's a lot of pros. Cons on this: the fact that you can't charge it. You have to take the screws out. You have to take the batteries out and charge them separately. You can't actually plug anything into this that works and get it charged that way without it messing up the board. Hence the reason why they capped it. The other con is, of course, having the touch sensor. Best of my knowledge, from what I've heard, even with the IPV2, the touch sensor didn't really work. So I don't know why they included it in the IPV3. Kind of makes it a little janky in my opinion. Wonky, janky, weird. Just, I don't understand why they bothered to even deal with it. You got a button already that needs to be fired. There's no reason to have a touch sensor, especially if it doesn't work and you end up disabling it. Now we just got this weird little glossy nothing on the top of it. Let's see. Other cons would be the back, having to unscrew it. Same thing, like I was saying, having to take the batteries out. I got to unscrew it. A lot of other box mods that are coming out, they're magnet backs, so you can just pop it off, take your batteries out, pop it back on. That would make it a little bit more convenient. It's not necessarily a killer for me, because the battery on this seems to last me pretty much the whole day, if not 2 days, depending on the wattage I'm at. So at the end of the day, I just unscrew it, take my batteries out, set it off to the side. But I already know I'm going to lose one of these screws. It's going to happen. I already know it. Eventually it's going to happen. Hopefully it doesn't happen anytime soon, because I've been using the hell out of this thing. But it's going to happen. So if it was magnets, I wouldn't have to worry about that. Just pops on, pops off, and I walk away from it. And the other con that I had that I notice happens every so often is my resistance does fluctuate. Now, someone must be home. Dogs are going crazy. Sorry about that. So my resistance seems to change a lot, and that does cause some issues, especially if you're using a tank and you're trying to use it at its highest wattage that you can allow it at, and then all of a sudden the resistance changes, and now all of a sudden you're firing, instead of 5 volts, you're firing at 8.5 volts, and all of a sudden you get this horribly burnt hit. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen that often, but it does tend to happen from time to time, and it's a little irritating. I wish it was a little bit more fine-tuned. I mean, it could be the screws need to be adjusted. It could just be the connection that I'm making. It could just be that it's dirty sometimes and other times it's not, but it happens. If you buy this, just be forewarned. You know, if you're taking hit and all of a sudden it feels a little too hot, just back off, fire it a couple times, and you'll see like your resistance will jump. Sometimes when I first plug something in here and I hit the fire button the first time, it'll say it's firing at like 3, 5. I've even seen 7 ohms. Don't know why. And then I fire it a couple more times and it goes down to where it should be. So that's probably my biggest con out of all of them. It doesn't stop me at all. I still love this thing to death. So those are the only cons I have. I really don't have any more negative things to say about this. So let's talk about the positive. Positive, I love this thing. I really love this thing. Why do I love this thing? I'm a sub-ohmer. I like to blow big clouds and fling drip tips at my computer. I like to blow big clouds. I like warm to hot vapes. I like being able to do that all the time. Now, when I was using my mechanicals, as the battery waned, I wasn't getting the performance I liked. With this, my performance is the same from beginning to end. And then, of course, if I want more, I can up it. If I want less, I can drop it at any given time whenever I feel I need to do that. Now, that's a huge pro for someone like me that's been so used to using mechanical devices for so long, and I got used to that. Now I get this every time I fire it. It's like firing a fresh battery or better every single time. So that's a huge pro for me. I love that. Battery life. Battery life on this thing, unbelievable. I can slap on a tank like I normally do when I go to work and fire it at like 30 to 40 watts and vape on that all day long. I did this with the Atlantis when I was testing it out. I'm going to be reviewing that next, where I had the Atlantis on and I would use it all day, all night. I didn't use anything else but the Atlantis. I wanted to see how long I could take it before it died. Well, anyways, before I go off on that, because we're not talking about the Atlantis, we're talking about the IPV3. I could use it for probably a day and a half, maybe even 2 days before I needed to take the batteries out. That's huge. Now, say with a dripper, I've been trying to use drippers a little bit more now since my Atlantis is done. I'm moving on to something else. With my drippers, I'm getting a full day's use from morning till night. I'll use probably a tank just while I'm driving, and then I'm dripping any other time. And it lasts me all day. So that's huge. Huge battery life. I love that I can use it, not have to carry a bunch of batteries around with me. I don't have to worry about that. I'm going to take a vape. That's a pro. Did you see that? Did you see all the clouds that I just blew out? And this is at a 0.33. So another pro for me is the performance. The performance is amazing. I just get optimum performance all the time. I get extreme amounts of clouds. I get plenty of flavor. I love that. The fact that I can dial it up, dial it down, I love that. The way it feels, I enjoy it. Some people might not like box mods, but I got big giant hands. I'm a giant. I'm 6'4", so I have big giant hands. This thing is perfect for me, and so that's another pro for me. Could be a con for you, especially if you have smaller hands, or for the ladies and you have smaller hands, so it's not necessarily going to fit as nice. But there's other options for you out there. This is strictly, in my opinion, for the crazy sub-ohm guys that love to blow big clouds and want to have perfect performance with every vape until the batteries are dead. That's for you. Another pro for me is this has reverse battery protection. So if you flip your batteries in there wrong, it won't fire. I keep dropping my drip tip. It won't fire. If you overheat, if you get it too hot, it stops. It won't let you fry everything out by getting it overheated. I haven't done that yet, so I haven't seen it in action, but they claim it. So that's another pro. And what else? What else? What else? Other pros that I can think of about this. Oh, spring-loaded 510 connection, so all of your atomizers will sit flush. Another big pro for me. I like the finish on it. Did I just smack the microphone? That probably sounded like shit on your end. Sorry. Let me think again. I'm going to have to edit here. Okay. So, edit over. Another pro I like these buttons. They're very clicky. Can you hear that? Clicky, clicky buttons. So, you can feel them. Very easy to use. You know when you push it. You hear it. It makes an audible little clicking sound whenever you click it. It seems comfortable to me. I didn't know if I was going to like the little tiny buttons like these, but I've come to enjoy it. I really do enjoy it now. It works. It fires every single time. I don't get that with my mechanicals. A lot of mechanicals, sometimes you got to search for the button for it to fire properly. This doesn't have that problem. I do like the finish. I don't know if I said that already. I like the finish on this. It's not shiny, so it's not going to be a fingerprint magnet. It's not a polished look. It has that two-tone look, so on the corners where it's been edged or shaved, you have this nice little taper to it, which shows the aluminum, which I think looks great when you pair it with something with stainless steel and black. So stainless steel, black, that's just me. And I'm throwing the damn drip tip again. I'm just throwing this drip tip everywhere. This drip tip probably is not meant to sit in this atomizer. What do you guys think? I think so. But I'm going to leave it on there just because it looks pretty. Anyway, I think that's it. Those were the pros and the cons. So let's go ahead and talk about where I got this from and how much they are charging for it. I picked this up from thebrokesmoker.com out in Apple Valley, California. It is an online website. I'm sure if you've seen my reviews, you've heard me talk about them before. Anyways, I talked to Jimmy, the owner of The Broke Smoker. He had got these in, and he had sent me one out because he knew I wanted one. I've been bugging him for probably a good 2 months that, hey, I want one of these. Get them in your shop so that way I can buy one from you. So that's where I bought them. He's selling them on his site, which is www.thebrokesmoker.com for $119.99, which is a slamming deal since most places that I've seen are selling them for about $140. So, and that's even what he get, $139.99, $20 off. So that's what you get, $120 to pick up an IPV3. And I do believe at this very moment, let's see, he has them both, black and silver. So if you want the silver look instead of the black look, he has them both. So go ahead and run over to thebrokesmoker.com, check out his website, pick it up. Or if you find it cheaper somewhere else, find it somewhere else. That's probably one of the best prices I've seen. That's where I bought it from. So there's that. Anything else that I'm forgetting? I'm probably forgetting a whole bunch of stuff. I did forget something. Let me add it now. The IPV3, before the update to go up to 165 watts, it can fire down as low as a 0.1, and it can fire as high as, I believe, 3 ohms. And with the update to 165 watts, that allows you to go down to a 0.08 instead of a 0.1. So if you do upgrade it, you can bring it down to a 0.08 and still safely vape. All right, back to the video. I'm not used to regulated devices, so this is my first real review doing regulated. So don't beat me up too hard, guys. All right, I know you're gonna beat me up a little bit, but don't beat me up too hard. Whatever. That just, you're gonna do it anyway. So there it is. That's my opinion. That's my review on this. I'm gonna go ahead and record why I really enjoy this and the jump for me from mechanicals to a high wattage regulated, and why I think it's beneficial for guys like us and ladies like us that are into these sub-ohm builds that like to blow clouds. A cloud blower's point of view on a high wattage regulated device. So stay tuned for that. I'm gonna go ahead and record that right after I'm done with this. So thank you again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope I didn't mess up too bad. I hope I didn't miss out on too many things. But there's plenty of other reviewers out there that have reviewed this. So just make sure you check them out as well. Don't just use my opinion, my judgment. I am not the sole opinion you should run by. These are just my opinions, how I feel. So watch some other people, learn more about it. If P. Basardo has a review on this, watch his, because he'll tell you everything you need to know. That man knows everything about the electronic regulated side of vaping. Anyways, I'm going to end this now before I keep talking, because I'm going to talk some more in the next video. So thank you so much for watching. I really do appreciate it, you guys. If you want to keep seeing more of my videos, go ahead and subscribe. It's somewhere up and around this general area. I'll post the link for thebrokesmoker.com to pick up the IPV3 in the description. And there you go. That's my review. And as always, people, vape on.